Hi, my name is Emily Carter. I am 22 years old and I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a university student majoring in marketing. If you had met me a few years ago, you wouldn't believe that I am the same person who can now talk fluently in English. Because back then, I struggled. Badly. I understood English, but speaking, that was my biggest nightmare. Every time I tried, I either froze or fumbled. And the worst part? I avoided speaking altogether because I was afraid of making mistakes. I know many people believe that learning English requires sitting with thick books, memorizing grammar rules, and studying long vocabulary lists. But let me tell you something. I learned English without books. Yes, without textbooks, without boring grammar exercises, and without those heavy academic materials that used to make me feel lost. Instead, I learned English in the most natural way, by living it, speaking it, and making it a part of my daily life. So, today I want to share my journey with you. I want to tell you exactly how I learned English without books, and how you can do it too. If you're struggling like I was, I promise you, by the end of my story, you will have a clear, practical, and fun way to improve your English without ever touching a textbook. The beginning of my struggle. I was born and raised in Austin, Texas, but my family speaks Spanish at home. My parents, Luis and Maria, moved from Mexico before I was born. Since childhood, I always heard English outside, but inside my home, we mostly spoke Spanish. So, even though I could understand English, I never had the confidence to speak it fluently. In school, I was the quiet one. I would listen to my teachers, understand the lessons, and even write well. But when it came to speaking, my mind would go blank. I remember in my high school English class, my teacher, Mr. Anderson, once asked me to answer a question. I knew the answer in my head, but when I opened my mouth, the words came out all wrong. The class giggled, and I felt my face turn red. From that day, I tried my best to avoid speaking English in front of people. But things changed when I entered college. I realized that in university, I couldn't escape English. Everything was in English: group discussions, presentations, networking events, and even casual conversations with classmates. If I wanted to succeed, I had no choice but to improve. But the problem was, I hated learning from books. So, I had to find another way. And that's exactly what I did. How I learned English without books. Instead of studying grammar rules, I decided to immerse myself in English naturally. Here's exactly what I did. 1. I changed my daily environment. The first thing I did was surround myself with English. Since I didn't like studying from books, I found ways to learn through everyday life. I changed my phone settings to English. Every time I used my phone, I was forced to read in English. I started watching YouTube videos and Netflix in English. But here's the trick. I didn't use subtitles in my native language. I either used English subtitles or no subtitles at all. I started listening to English podcasts. Whenever I was walking, exercising, or even cooking, I played podcasts in the background. My favorites were The English We Speak and Learn English with Bob the Canadian. At first, it felt strange. My brain wasn't used to so much English, and I didn't understand everything. But I kept going. After a few weeks, I noticed that English words started to sound more familiar. 2. I spoke without fear. One of my biggest problems was that I was too afraid of making mistakes. I didn't want to sound stupid, but I realized that if I wanted to improve, I had to stop being scared. So, I made a rule. I will speak English every day, no matter what. I started talking to myself. Every morning, I described my plans for the day in English. If I was cooking, I would say, "Now I'm cutting vegetables." Next, I will boil water. It felt silly at first, but it really helped. I practiced with my friends. I told my best friend, Sarah, about my goal, and she agreed to speak only English with me. Every time we met, we had full conversations in English. I joined online language exchange groups. I found an app called Tandem, where I could talk to native English speakers. I met a guy named Alex from New York, and we had weekly conversations. He helped me correct my mistakes, and in return, I taught him some Spanish. Slowly, my confidence grew. The more I spoke, the less I worried about mistakes. 3. I used real-life situations. Instead of learning English from a textbook, I practiced it in real-life situations. I started ordering food in English. When I went to restaurants, I made sure to place my order in English, even if the waiter spoke Spanish. I spoke with strangers. Whenever I got the chance, I started small conversations with people at coffee shops, stores, or the gym. I worked part-time in a cafe. This was one of the best decisions I made. Working in an English-speaking environment forced me to communicate in English every day. At first, it was scary, but after a few months, speaking English became natural to me. 4. I thought in English this was a game changer. Instead of translating from Spanish to English in my head, I started thinking directly in English. Here's how I did it. I described my surroundings in English. If I was walking on the street, I would think, "The sky is blue. That woman is wearing a red jacket. The cars are moving fast." I made up conversations in my head. Before an important discussion, I would practice in my mind what I wanted to say. This trick helped me become more fluent and reduced hesitation while speaking. 5. I made English fun. Instead of treating English like a subject, I made it something enjoyable. I listened to English music. I found songs I liked, learned the lyrics, and sang along. My favorite was "Someone Like You" by Adele. I watched stand-up comedy in English. Comedians like Kevin Hart and Trevor Noah made me laugh while improving my listening skills. I played word games. I used apps like Duolingo and Word Connect to practice vocabulary in a fun way. The result, after 1 year of learning English without books, I saw a huge difference. I could have conversations without pausing or translating in my head. I felt more confident speaking in front of people. I even gave a full presentation in English in my university class, and I nailed it. Now, I don't fear speaking English anymore. It feels natural to me, and the best part? I never had to force myself to study from boring textbooks. Now that you know my journey and the exact steps I took, I want to go even deeper. I want to share more details about the challenges I faced, the mistakes I made, and how I overcame them. Because I know that starting is easy, but staying consistent is the real challenge. The struggles I faced and how I overcame them. Even though my approach didn't involve books, it wasn't always smooth. There were moments when I felt like giving up. Moments when I thought, maybe English just isn't for me. But I didn't stop. And here's how I overcame those struggles. 1. The fear of being judged. One of my biggest fears was that people would laugh at me if I made mistakes. And guess what? Sometimes they did. There was this one time in college when I tried to start a conversation with my classmate, Michael. I wanted to say, "I'm excited about the project," but instead I said, "I'm excited about the project." He smiled and said, "Oh, so you're leaving?" I didn't understand at first, but later I realized that exited means left. I felt so embarrassed. At that moment, I had two choices: stop talking in English out of fear of making mistakes, laugh at myself, learn from it, and move on. I chose the second option. I told myself, mistakes are proof that I'm learning. After that, I started embracing my mistakes. Every time someone corrected me, I thanked them instead of feeling embarrassed. This small mindset shift changed everything for me. Lesson: if you want to improve, you must make mistakes. It's part of the process. 2. Lack of confidence. When I first started speaking English, I always doubted myself. Even when I knew the right words, my voice would shake, and I would second-guess everything. One day, I decided to change that. I started practicing in front of a mirror. Every night, I stood in front of my mirror and spoke in English. I pretended I was talking to someone. At first, it felt weird, but after a few days, I noticed a difference. I became more comfortable hearing my own voice in English. I also started recording myself. I would talk about my day for 2 to 3 minutes, then listen to the recording. I noticed my mistakes and corrected them. It was uncomfortable, but it helped a lot. Lesson: confidence doesn't come overnight. It comes from practice. The more you speak, the more confident you become. 3. Not knowing enough words. There were times when I wanted to say something, but I didn't know the right words. Instead of stopping the conversation, I learned how to explain things differently. For example, one day I was at a grocery store and I couldn't remember the word cabbage. Instead of staying silent, I said, "It's a round vegetable. It looks like lettuce but bigger." The cashier smiled and said, "Oh, you mean cabbage." That's when I realized I don't always need the perfect word. I just need to describe it. Lesson: if you don't know a word, describe it in simple terms. Communication is more important than perfection. 4th, understanding fast English. At first, native speakers spoke too fast for me. I felt lost in conversations. To fix this, I used a trick. I listened to slow English first, then normal speed. I started with YouTube channels that taught English at a slow pace, like BBC Learning English. I watched movies with English subtitles, then watched them again without subtitles. I listened to the same podcast multiple times. The first time, I didn't understand much, but by the third or fourth time, it became clearer. After a few months, I noticed a huge improvement. I could finally understand native speakers without feeling lost. Lesson: if you can't understand fast English, start with slow English and gradually increase the difficulty. How you can start right now. I don't want you to just read my story and forget about it. I want you to take action. So here's a step-by-step guide to help you learn English without books, just like I did. Step 1. Create an English environment. Change your phone and social media to English. Watch English videos and movies. Start with subtitles, then remove them. Listen to English songs and podcasts daily. Step 2. Speak every day. Talk to yourself in English. Describe your daily routine. Find a friend who also wants to practice. Speak English together. Use apps like Tandem or HelloTalk to find language partners. Step 3. Think in English. Start with simple thoughts. For example, instead of thinking tengo hambre in Spanish, think I am hungry. Practice forming sentences in your head before speaking. Step 4. Don't be afraid of mistakes. If someone corrects you, be grateful. Keep speaking, even if your grammar isn't perfect. Remember, fluency comes from practice, not perfection. Step 5. Enjoy the process. Play games in English. Join online English communities. Make learning fun. You can do it. If someone had told me a few years ago that I would be confidently speaking English today, I wouldn't have believed them. But here I am. And if I can do it, so can you. You don't need textbooks. You don't need to memorize thousands of words. You just need to live English, speak English, and make it a part of your daily life. Start today. Speak without fear. Make mistakes. Keep going. Making English a part of your life. The Deep Dive. By now, you understand that learning English without books is completely possible. But let's take it even deeper. I want you to fully immerse yourself in English in a way that feels effortless and natural. 1. Train your brain to think in English. This was one of the biggest breakthroughs for me. I realized that I was still thinking in Spanish first and then translating into English. That slowed me down and made my sentences awkward. So I started small. Every morning, instead of thinking, tengo que levantarme, I have to wake up, I forced myself to think, I have to wake up. At first, it felt unnatural, but within weeks, I noticed that my brain started using English automatically. Here's how you can do it too. Start with simple thoughts. I am brushing my teeth. I am making coffee. Narrate your actions in English in your mind. If you don't know a word, try to describe it instead of translating it. This trick alone will increase your fluency faster than anything else. The power of daily conversations, even if you have no one to talk to. When I tell people that I improved my English by talking every day, they always ask, "But what if I don't have anyone to talk to?" Here's what I did. Talk to yourself. It sounds crazy, but it works. I spoke out loud, explaining my day, my plans, and even having imaginary conversations. This helped me get comfortable speaking. Stick pin. Use voice messages. I started sending English voice messages to my friends. Even if they weren't fluent, we both practiced together. Talk to AI or voice apps. Nowadays, there are apps that let you have a conversation with AI in English. Apps like ChatGPT, Elsa Speak, or Google Assistant can help you practice. Join online language groups. There are thousands of language learners just like you looking for practice partners. Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, and platforms like Tandem and HelloTalk are great for this. 3. Surround yourself with English every single day. Even when I wasn't actively studying, I made sure English was always around me. Music. I started listening to English songs and tried to sing along. Apps like lyrics training helped me learn the lyrics. TV shows and YouTube. Instead of watching content in Spanish, I switched to English. At first, I used subtitles, but later, I removed them. Short stories and social media. I followed English-speaking influencers, read English memes, and even started writing my Instagram captions in English. The more I surrounded myself with English, the more natural it became. Overcoming the fear of speaking in public, even though I practiced a lot, I was still terrified to speak English in front of people. One day, I was in a coffee shop, and a tourist asked me for directions. Instead of panicking, I took a deep breath and spoke slowly. I didn't worry about being perfect. I just focused on communicating. That moment changed everything. So, if you're afraid of speaking in public, start with small conversations. Order food in English, ask for directions, or chat with a store cashier. Remember, people don't care about your mistakes. They appreciate the effort. Speak slowly and clearly. There's no need to rush. Every conversation is practice. The more you do it, the easier it gets. How long does it take to become fluent? People often ask me, how long did it take you to become fluent? The truth is, it depends on how much effort you put in. But if you truly immerse yourself in English every day, you can make huge progress in just 6 months to a year. If you listen to English daily speak every day, even to yourself, think in English, stop fearing mistakes. Then in 6 months, you'll already be able to have conversations. In 1 year, you'll feel confident. My final advice: start today, not tomorrow. If I could go back in time and give myself advice, I would say, don't wait until you feel ready. Just start speaking today. There's no perfect moment. The sooner you start, the faster you improve. So right now, do this. 1. Look around you and describe 3 things in English. Speak 3 sentences about your day out loud. 3. Watch a short English video and try to repeat what they say. Small actions every day lead to big results. Your English journey starts now. No more excuses. I've shared everything that helped me learn English without books. But here's the truth. None of this will work unless you actually do it. So now it's your turn. Step 1. Make a 7-day challenge for yourself. For the next 7 days, challenge yourself to do the following. Check mark day 1. Change your phone language to English and listen to an English podcast for 10 minutes. Day 2. Watch a YouTube video in English with subtitles if needed and write down 5 new words. Day 3. Speak to yourself for 5 minutes about your day, out loud. Day 4. Try to think in English for at least 10 minutes during the day. Day 5. Write a short paragraph about your daily routine in English. Day 6. Have a small conversation in English with someone, a friend, a store employee, or online. Day 7. Watch an episode of a TV show in English. No subtitles this time. This challenge will force you to use English every day and help build your confidence. Step 2. Set realistic expectations. Nobody becomes fluent overnight. It's a journey. When I first started, I could barely speak 1 full sentence without stopping, but day by day, little by little, I got better. If you commit to using English daily, even for just 30 minutes a day, you'll see massive improvement within a few months. Remember, mistakes are good. They mean you're learning. Speaking is more important than grammar. Don't worry about being perfect. Consistency is the key. Even 10 minutes a day is better than nothing. Step 3. Find your motivation. Ask yourself, why do you want to learn English? Do you want a better job? Travel more? Make international friends? For me, it was about opportunities. I knew that learning English would open doors for me. That's what kept me going when I felt like giving up. Find your reason and remind yourself of it every day. I started this journey scared, unsure, and full of doubt. But I kept going. Hey there, my friend. Have you ever felt stuck trying to learn English just by reading books, memorizing grammar rules, or flipping through pages filled with exercises? If yes, let me tell you something. You don't need books to learn English fluently. Surprised? Well, let me take you on a journey where you'll discover how you can master English without relying on textbooks. Many people believe that learning a language means sitting in a classroom, reading thick grammar books, and writing long essays. But let's be honest. How many times have you tried studying like this and still felt like you couldn't speak confidently? That's because real language learning happens outside books, in real-life experiences. So, in this guide, I will show you practical, book-free methods to learn English. I'll explain everything in a simple way, with real-life examples, so you can start improving your English naturally. Let's dive in. 1. Surround yourself with English, immersion learning. Why it works. Think about how babies learn to speak. Do they read books? No. They listen, absorb, and then start speaking. The more English you surround yourself with, the faster you'll pick it up. How to do it. Change your phone and computer language to English every time you use your phone. You'll see English words. This will help you understand new vocabulary naturally. Watch movies and TV shows in English. Instead of reading grammar rules, watch movies and series with subtitles. Try watching Friends for casual, everyday conversations. Sherlock, if you like mystery and British English. The Office, for American humor and workplace English. Example: imagine you're watching Friends and you hear Joey say, "How you doing?" At first, you may not understand, but after hearing it a few times, you'll get it. That's how immersion works. Listen to English music and podcasts. Instead of reading, try listening to English songs or podcasts while commuting or cooking. Listen to BBC Learning English for slow and clear pronunciation. Play songs by Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, or Coldplay to learn casual words. Talk to yourself in English. When you're alone, try describing what you're doing. For example, I'm making coffee. The weather is really nice today. This simple habit trains your brain to think in English. 2. Learn English like a child. No grammar rules needed. Why it works. When kids learn their first language, they don't start with grammar rules. Instead, they listen, repeat, and copy others. You can do the same. How to do it. Copy native speakers. When you hear someone say a phrase, repeat it like an actor. Example: if someone says, "That's awesome," you say it the same way. If someone says, "What's up?" you repeat it like them. Forget about grammar rules, for now. Instead of worrying about past perfect or present continuous, just use simple sentences. Wrong thinking. I should learn the present perfect tense before speaking. Right thinking. I will speak using simple words first. Learn phrases, not single words. Instead of memorizing words, learn phrases. Example. Instead of learning hungry, learn I'm starving. Instead of hello, learn hey, how's it going? The power of talking without a teacher. Why it works. Speaking is the fastest way to improve fluency. If you don't speak, you'll never get comfortable with English. How to do it. Find a speaking partner without paying money. You don't need a teacher. You just need someone to talk to. Try Hello Talk, an app where you can chat with native speakers. Tandem, another app to find speaking partners. Join Facebook groups. Search for English speaking practice groups. Example. If you're too shy to talk to a stranger, try voice messaging a friend in English. Even if they reply in your native language, you'll still practice speaking. Use AI to practice speaking. Apps like ChatGPT or Google Assistant can respond in English. Try saying, "Hey Google, what's the weather like? Tell me a joke in English." Shadowing technique. Mimic like an actor. Listen to a native speaker and copy their exact pronunciation. Example. Play a TED Talk, pause, and repeat exactly what the speaker says. Watch a YouTube video, pause, and mimic their accent. 4. Learn by doing instead of studying. Why it works. You don't need books to learn English. You need real experiences. How to do it. Cook using an English recipe instead of reading books. Go to YouTube and follow an English cooking tutorial. Play video games in English. If you love gaming, set the language to English. Games like Minecraft, Fortnite, or GTA use real conversational English. Join online communities. Instead of studying, join discussions. Try Reddit. Join r/learn English and ask questions. Quora. Read answers written by native speakers. Write daily on social media instead of book exercises. Post in English. Example. 5. Turn mistakes into learning. Don't be shy. Why it works. The more mistakes you make, the faster you improve. Babies don't care about making mistakes when learning their first language, so why should you? How to do it. Laugh at your mistakes. Instead of feeling embarrassed, think, "Oops, I'll do better next time." Example. One time, my friend said, "I am boring," instead of, "I am bored." He laughed and corrected it. That's the best way to learn. Ask for feedback. If you're texting in English, ask, "Did I say this correctly?" Can you help me fix this sentence? Record yourself, speaking. Play it back and check where you need to improve. 6. Learn English by watching everyday life around you. Why it works. We often overlook simple things around us that can help us learn. If you start paying attention, your surroundings can become your best teacher. How to do it. Observe signs and labels in English. Look at street signs, advertisements, menus, and product labels written in English. Example. If you see a sign that says exit, now you know what it means without a dictionary. Use English at restaurants and cafes. Order food in English, even if the waiter speaks your language. Example. Instead of saying, "1 coffee, please," try, "Can I have a coffee, please?" Read movie subtitles in English. If you're watching a movie in your native language, turn on English subtitles. This helps you connect words and meanings faster. 7. Learn English with fun challenges. Why it works. Turning learning into a game makes it more enjoyable and less stressful. How to do it. Try the One Day Only English Challenge. Pick one day a week and speak only English for 24 hours. If you need help, use Google Translate to find words. Word of the Day Challenge. Learn one new word every day and use it in a sentence. Example. If today's word is delicious, try saying, "This pizza is delicious." "The cake looks delicious." Record a 1-minute video daily talk about your day in English and record yourself. Watch your progress after a few weeks. 8. Use social media for English practice. Why it works. You already use social media every day. Why not turn it into an English learning tool? How to do it. Follow English-speaking influencers. Subscribe to YouTubers who speak English naturally. Example. English Addict with Mr. Steve. Fun English lessons. Speak English with Vanessa. Casual English. Join English-speaking Facebook groups and Reddit communities. Search for groups like Learn English Online and participate in discussions. On Reddit Learn English, ask questions and chat with others. Comment in English on posts. If you see a post in English, leave a comment in English. Example. If someone posts a photo of food, comment, "That looks delicious." 9. Learn English through work and daily activities. Why it works. English is everywhere. You just need to connect it to your daily routine. How to do it. Write your daily tasks in English. Instead of writing your to-do list in your native language, write it in English. Example. Buy groceries. Call mom. Watch an English podcast. Speak English at work. If you work with English-speaking clients or colleagues, try using more English in emails or meetings. Example. Instead of, "I will send it later," say, "I'll send it in a few hours." Use English when shopping online. When buying something, read product descriptions in English. Example. If you're buying shoes, learn words like sneakers, size chart, comfortable fit. Practice thinking in English. Why it works. The biggest challenge in speaking English is translating from your native language. If you train your brain to think in English, you'll speak faster and more naturally. How to do it. Describe what you see in English while walking. Describe things in English. The sky is blue. That car is very fast. Talk to yourself in English. Pretend you're speaking to a friend. Example. Today, I woke up early. I made coffee. Now I'm going to work. Give yourself simple English commands. Instead of thinking, "I need to go to the market," think, "Let's go to the market." 11. Use AI and voice assistants to improve your English. Why it works. AI is like having a personal tutor available 24/7. How to do it. Talk to Google Assistant or Siri. Ask, "Hey Google, what's the weather today?" Siri, can you set an alarm for 6 a.m.? Use ChatGPT to practice conversations. Example, type, "Can we have a conversation about travel?" ChatGPT will respond, and you can practice like it's a real person. 12. Learn English through travel and new experiences. Why it works. When you travel, you're forced to use English in real-life situations. How to do it. Visit an English-speaking country. If possible, travel to the US, UK, Canada, Australia, or any English-speaking place. Talk to locals, order food, and ask for directions. Join international events in your city, search for English meetups, workshops, or cultural events in your area. Be a tourist in your own city. Search for English meetups, workshops, or cultural events in your area. Be a tourist in your own city, act like a foreigner, and try speaking only English for a day. Ask for directions in English, even if you already know the way. 13. Learn English with humor and fun. Why it works. When you laugh, your brain remembers better. How to do it. Watch stand-up comedy in English. Try comedians like Trevor Noah, Kevin Hart, or James Corden. Learn slang, jokes, and casual English. Read funny memes in English. Follow meme pages on Instagram like English Memes or ESL Humor. Example, meme, I before E except after C. Weird. This helps you remember grammar rules in a funny way. Watch cartoons in English simple and easy to understand. Try Peppa Pig, The Simpsons, or SpongeBob SquarePants. 14. Learn English through cooking and food. Why it works. Food is something we all love, and cooking in English helps you learn new words, instructions, and measurements naturally. How to do it. Watch English cooking shows and follow recipes. Follow chefs like Gordon Ramsay, Jamie Oliver, or Tasty. Try reading a recipe in English and following it step by step. Example, if you're making pasta, you'll learn words like boil, chop, stir, add, bake. Order food in English, even in your country. When visiting a restaurant or cafe, use English to order your meal. Example, instead of saying one burger, try, can I have a burger, please? Label food items in English at home. Stick small labels on items in your kitchen. Example, apple bread, honey 15. Learn English by teaching someone else why it works. When you teach something, you remember it better. Even if you're still learning, you can explain simple things to a friend or family member. How to do it. Teach a friend or sibling. If your friend or younger sibling wants to learn English, practice speaking together. Example, you can say, let's name 5 things we see in this room in English. Join online language exchange platforms apps like Tandem, HelloTalk, or Speaky. Let you teach your language to someone while they help you with English. Explain something you learned in English. Example, after watching an English YouTube video, tell someone what you learned using only English. 16. Learn English by acting and role-playing why it works. When you pretend to be in different situations, you improve your confidence and fluency. How to do it. Practice real-life situations. Example, imagine you are at an airport. Say, excuse me, where is gate 12? Can I get a window seat, please? Use voice messages. Instead of texting, instead of typing messages, send voice notes to your friends in English. Act like your favorite movie character. Pick a character and repeat their lines from a movie. Example, if you like Harry Potter, say, it's Levi-o-achasa, not Levi-o-sar. 17. Learn English with personal journaling why it works. Writing in English every day helps you think in English improve vocabulary, and express thoughts clearly. How to do it. Write a daily journal in English. Example. Today, I woke up early and went for a walk. It was a beautiful day. Write your future goals in English. Example. In 2025, I want to travel to the USA and speak English fluently. Write English notes to yourself. Leave small sticky notes on your mirror with words like, "Today is a great day." You are improving every day. 18. Learn English through music and singing. Why it works. Music helps you remember words and pronunciation easily because of rhythm and repetition. How to do it. Listen to English songs with lyrics. Example. Beginners. Try slow songs like Perfect by Ed Sheeran. Advanced. Try rap songs like Lose Yourself by Eminem. Sing along and imitate pronunciation challenge. Try singing without reading the lyrics. Find new words in songs. Example. In Someone Like You by Adele, you'll hear, "I heard that you're settled down." New words. Heard, past of here settled down. Started a stable life. 19. Learn English through podcasts and audiobooks. Why it works. Listening to natural conversations helps you understand real English and accents. How to do it. Listen to English podcasts. Daily examples. The English We Speak, BBC, teaches modern slang. All Ears English teaches conversation skills. Listen while doing other activities. Play an English podcast while cooking, exercising, or walking. Repeat after the speaker pause and repeat sentences to practice pronunciation. 20. Learn English by playing video games. Why it works. Games make English fun and interactive because you need to read instructions, talk to teammates, and understand the storyline. How to do it. Play games with English instructions. Change the game language to English to learn naturally. Join online multiplayer games. Talk to real players in English in games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Among Us. Learn gaming vocabulary. Example. Loot, chait. Collect items, revive, say, bring back a teammate, level up. Reach the next stage. 21. Learn English through body language and expressions. Why it works. English is not just words. It's also expressions, gestures, and tone. How to do it. Watch videos of native speakers. Notice how they move their hands, smile, or nod while speaking. Copy their expressions and tone. Example. When someone says, "Wow, really?" they raise their eyebrows. Try saying it with the same emotion and expression. Use hand gestures. While speaking, this makes your English feel more natural and confident. Back to story. Let me tell you about my friend Sam. He went through the exact same struggle I did, wanting to learn English but feeling lost without books or formal classes. His story is proof that you don't need textbooks to become fluent. Sam grew up speaking Spanish, just like me. He always felt frustrated because he understood English when he read it, but when it came to speaking, he completely froze. His words wouldn't come out, and when they did, he second-guessed everything. I remember the day he called me and said, "Emily, I just can't do this. I try, but I feel like I'll never be able to speak fluently." I laughed and said, "Sam, I used to feel the same way, but trust me, you're overthinking it. You don't need books. You just need to make English a part of your life." At first, he didn't believe me. He thought fluency only came from studying hard, memorizing grammar, and reading boring textbooks. But I told him, "No, Sam, you need to learn like a child, by living in the language." So, I gave him a challenge. I told him to follow 3 simple steps every single day for the next 30 days. Step 1. Speak out loud. Even if you're alone, Sam was scared of speaking English because he was afraid of making mistakes. So I told him, talk to yourself every single day. At first, he felt silly. He said, "Emily, talking to myself? That's weird." I laughed and said, "Who cares? Nobody is listening. Just describe what you're doing." So he started. Every morning, instead of just thinking in Spanish, he forced himself to say things in English. "I am brushing my teeth. I am cooking breakfast. I am walking to work." Within a week, he already felt more comfortable speaking. His mouth was getting used to forming English sentences. Step 2. Listen and copy. Like a child learning a language, next I told him, you need to train your ears. Listen to English every day, but don't just listen. Copy what you hear. So, he started watching YouTube videos, podcasts, and TV shows in English. But instead of just watching, he repeated what they said. If someone in a movie said, "Hey, how's your day going?" Sam paused and repeated it out loud. At first, it felt unnatural, but soon he realized that his pronunciation and rhythm were improving without studying a single grammar rule. Step 3. Think in English. No more translating. One of Sam's biggest problems was translating everything from Spanish to English in his head before speaking. That made him slow and unsure. So I gave him a simple exercise. Think in English for 10 minutes every day. When he walked to work, he forced himself to think in English. Instead of, "Voy a comprar un café," he told himself, "I'm going to buy a coffee." At first, his brain wanted to switch back to Spanish, but the more he practiced, the easier it became. After 1 month of following these steps, Sam called me. His voice was full of excitement. "Emily, you won't believe this. Today, a customer spoke to me in English, and I answered without even thinking. It just came out naturally." I smiled and said, "I told you, you don't need books. You just need to use English every day." Sam kept going. He listened to music and learned song lyrics. He watched Netflix in English without subtitles. He started talking to people online in English. And within 6 months, he was having full conversations without fear. Now, Sam is confident in English, and he never used a single textbook to get there. So, if you're like Sam, if you feel stuck, afraid, or unsure, just remember this. You don't need books. You don't need classes. You just need to start speaking, listening, and thinking in English every day. A few months after Sam gained confidence in English, he called me again. But this time, his voice wasn't full of excitement. It was full of doubt. "Emily, I feel like I hit a wall. I can speak English now, but sometimes I still struggle. I forget words. I mix up tenses. And when I talk to native speakers, I feel slow compared to them." I could hear the frustration in his voice. He had come so far, but he still felt like he wasn't good enough. I smiled because I knew exactly what he was feeling. "Sam, welcome to the next stage of learning. This is normal. Every English learner feels like this at some point. But you don't need to worry. I have a solution. The next level, sounding natural in English. At the beginning, Sam focused on speaking English correctly. Now, it was time for him to focus on sounding natural. I told him, forget grammar. Forget rules. Now, you need to focus on rhythm, tone, and real-life expressions. Step 1. Imitate real conversations. The best way to sound like a native speaker is to copy native speakers. So, I told Sam to pick his favorite English YouTuber and watch a video every day. But this time, he had to do something new. Shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to a sentence and immediately repeat it, trying to match the speaker's accent, tone, and speed. At first, Sam struggled. Native speakers talk fast. He couldn't keep up. But after a few weeks, he noticed something amazing. His pronunciation was better. His speech was smoother. He was starting to sound like a native. Step 2. Use common phrases, not textbook English. Sam's English was good, but it still sounded a little too formal. For example, if someone asked him, "How are you?" he would answer, "I'm fine. And you?" That's not how most native speakers talk. So, I gave him a list of real-life expressions and told him to start using them. I am fine. I'm good. How about you? I do not know. I don't know. Yes, I agree. Yeah, totally. The more he used these natural expressions, the more confident he felt in real conversations. Step 3. Learn to handle fast English. One day, Sam told me, "Emily, I can speak English, but when native speakers talk fast, I don't understand anything." This was a big problem. He could speak well, but he still struggled to understand fast English. So, I gave him a new challenge. 1. Listen to fast conversations every day. Podcasts, movies, YouTube. 2. Don't translate. Just listen for the key words. 3. Guess the meaning from the context. At first, it was hard. He felt lost. But I told him, keep going. Your brain needs time to adjust. After a few months, something magical happened. One day, he walked into a coffee shop. The barista spoke super fast English. But this time, Sam didn't panic. He didn't translate. He didn't freeze. He just understood. He smiled and ordered his coffee confidently. 1 year later, today, Sam is a completely different person. He has English-speaking friends that he chats with every day. He got a better job because of his English skills. He travels without fear of speaking to strangers. And the best part? He never studied a single textbook. He learned English by living in English. So if you feel like Sam, if you're afraid, if you feel stuck, if you think fluency is impossible, just remember his story. It's not about talent. It's not about studying books. It's about practice. Live in English. Speak every day. Keep going. A few months after Sam reached fluency, something interesting happened. One evening, he called me, but this time his voice sounded different, excited, almost emotional. "Emily, you won't believe what just happened." I smiled. "Tell me." I had my first deep conversation in English, and I didn't even think about it. I could hear the amazement in his voice. This was a huge moment. "Wait, what do you mean?" I asked. "I was at a cafe, and this American guy sat next to me. We started talking about travel, work, and even our childhood memories. And guess what? I spoke naturally, without overthinking. I laughed. See? I told you this would happen. It's not just about speaking English, it's about feeling English. Sam had reached a new level. He wasn't just speaking English anymore, he was living it. Step 4. Express yourself like a native speaker. After this experience, Sam wanted to take his English even further. He asked me, "Emily, how can I sound even more natural? How do native speakers express themselves so easily?" So, I gave him 3 new challenges. Use idioms and phrasal verbs naturally. At first, Sam's English was clear, but it was still too direct. He sounded like a textbook. For example, instead of saying, "I'm tired," I told him to say, "I'm running on empty." "I'm beat," instead of, "I don't understand," I told him to say, "I'm not following you." That went over my head. Once he started using these real-life expressions, his English sounded more like a native speaker's. To tell stories, not just facts. The next problem Sam had was this. He could answer questions, but he couldn't tell stories. So, I taught him a simple trick. Think in beginning, middle, and end. For example, instead of just saying, "I went to the beach yesterday," I told him to tell a mini story. "Yesterday, I went to the beach. At first, the weather was perfect, but then it started raining out of nowhere. I had to run back to my car soaking wet. It was crazy." When he started telling short, natural stories, his English became more interesting and engaging. Develop a personal English identity. One day, Sam asked me something surprising. "Emily, do you ever feel like a different person when you speak English?" I smiled. "Yes, that's a great sign. It means English is becoming part of your life." He laughed. "Yeah, when I speak English, I feel more confident, more expressive, almost like I have a second personality." And that's exactly what happens when you truly master a language. When Sam realized this, everything changed. He stopped translating and started thinking in English. He stopped memorizing words and started feeling the language. He stopped being Sam from Spain and started feeling like Sam, the English speaker. Step 5. Become 100% comfortable in English. A year later, Sam and I met in person for the first time since he started his English journey. We sat in a cafe and he ordered in perfect, confident English. As we talked, I noticed something incredible. He wasn't just speaking English. He was enjoying it. There was no hesitation, no fear, no self-doubt. He owned the language. At one point, I asked him, "Sam, do you remember when you were scared to speak?" He laughed. "Yeah, I don't even recognize that version of me anymore." And that's the power of real English learning. It's not about textbooks. It's not about memorization. It's about living in the language until it becomes a part of you. Sam's final advice to you before we said goodbye. I asked Sam, if you could give one piece of advice to English learners, what would it be? He thought for a moment and then said, "Don't wait until you feel ready. Start speaking today. Make mistakes sound silly, but just keep going. One day, you'll wake up and realize you're fluent." And that's exactly what happened to him. No books, no grammar drills, just practice, real-life experience, and confidence. And if he can do it, so can you.